like a fairy, I don't know, what would you call that? I just feel like that would be the cutest design, and I want to make it, and it's living in my brain. Hello, sweet friends. It's Sarah at Crochet.With.Coffee, and thank you so much for joining me for another Monday chat. I have quite a few things to chat about today, so let's get rolling on that. First off, the thing that I am working on right now is this this cocoon cardigan, and it was part of the episode that I did the thrift flip for the thrifted blanket changed into wearables, so like a thrift flip type of thing. And this was my favorite one, and it's still a little bit long, like lengthwise arm to arm. So what I was thinking of doing was adding a cuff or ribbing all the way around. So I started adding that in black all the way around the opening of it. So I'm thinking if I have it like that and I fold it backward, then it would kind of make it that this naturally kind of shortens up a little bit. So when it's done, I'll try it on and show you guys how it's looking. But that is the current thing that I'm working on, and I have that set up at the table with my walking pad so I can get some exercise in while I do that. I really try to fit it in when I can. Sometimes I just take it from that spot and I sit on the couch. So to be absolutely transparent with you, I do that sometimes. I should be walking more often than I do. But anyway, a few weeks ago, I was showing you guys this, the squares that I was putting together to make a sweater. So this is what the sweater is looking like this is what the completed sweater looks like. So granny squares, and it is the 9 panels on the front, 9 squares on the front, and 9 squares on the back. And I seamed it up. I'm just going to tell you how I assembled it because it's really easy enough to do. So I just did the 9 squares on the front. I did a flat zipper join to join those together. Front and back, I did 2 panels like that. And then I did, along with that, I added 2 more squares on the arm. So the front panel was 9 squares, 2 panels on the left and right for the front. And then I did the exact same thing on the back. So same thing, 9 squares for the body, 2 squares on the left, 2 squares on the right. So then after I got those panels put together, where it was the 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 squares put together like that. And then I did a row of granny stitch, and I started up here by the neck. So it was, so not the corner, but the neck space. And I did a row of granny square stitch all the way around the sleeve. I did that right there, and then all the way down the underside of the sleeve, and then the body, down the side of the body. And then I worked all the way down around the bottom of the cardigan, or the bottom of the sweater, and then I worked up the side, and then down the underarm, down the part underneath the arm, around the edge of the sleeve, and down back around to where the neck was. So I put all that together on the front separately. So I did one for the front like that, and then I did the back exactly the same way. And then I put those front and back pieces together and did a zipper join up the arm and the shoulder, and then a zipper join down the arm, underneath the arm, and down the side. and I did that on both sides, and then I did 3 rows of single crochet for the collar on the neck, and then I did the back loop only single crochet ribbing around the base of the cardigan. And then for the sleeves, I did a row of color, a row of brown, a row of color, brown, color, and then I did a row of 2 double crochets in each space instead of 3 double crochets. And then I did a row of single crochets, and then I did the back loop only ribbing for the cuff, and I did that on both sleeves, but I swapped out the colors so they're opposite on both sleeves. So that is the construction of this one. It's really simple. It may sound confusing at first, but you just make the front panel with the 13 squares put together like that. And then you do a row of granny stitch on each panel separately. You go around everything, the entire thing except for this neck section. You leave that neck section without any granny stitches, which you work from one side. You work all the way down your arm, down all the way, all the way, all the way across the waist, up and back all the way around. Hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, easy enough. I don't really feel like that one needs a tutorial because I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I might do a short on that so that you can see like how I structured it a little bit more. Let me know if you're interested in that. But that's a completed item that I did. I have a couple other completed things. So my friend, actually the one that I sent the husky cardigan to, she hasn't gotten it yet. It should get there. Actually, it should be getting there today. I'm hoping. That's what the post office said, so we'll see. But she sent me a picture of this slouchy beanie. I'll put a picture up on the screen so you can see it. But it is so cute, and she was asking if she could make it being a newer crochet or newer to crochet. And it is just doubles and singles. So it is so cute. Let me put it on so you can see what it looks like. But it is, so you start in this section with a ring, a chain ring, and you work as in rows in a circle, and then you with double crochets, and then you do single crochets. I believe that the pattern is free, so you can check that out. But I loved this, and when she sent it to me, I knew I needed to make it. So it was so cute on the picture. So what I did, I used the Loops and Threads Facets yarn. So I used this one. You could probably get like 3 out of this, I'm assuming. I didn't measure. This was partially used before I got into it. So I'm assuming you can make 2 or 3. But there's the, sorry, let me fix this. There's the fit of it. It's just so cute. I just love that it's slouchy like that. And then the pattern also says that you can make it slouchier by adding rows in a certain spot, and the pattern explains where to do that. So I just love it. It is so cute and it's comfy. I love it, love it, love it. And then also you could stick some bobby pins in there so it doesn't slide off your head if you've got a windy day or you're really busy and you got a lot going on. So I love it, love it. So cute. So I'm really glad that she sent that to me. I haven't heard an update from her on if she has tried it yet or if she likes it, but I hope she tries it. I hope she enjoys it. Now another thing, on Friday when I did my little slow daily routine thing and we went shopping and all kinds of stuff, I showed you some big granny squares. So these granny squares are total of 14 rows. So it's 13 rows of color and 1 row of white for the outside edge. And then I made a bag out of it. So this is like a really big bag. So something like an overnight bag or something like that. This is also one I probably won't do a tutorial on because it's so easy to put together that I can really just explain to you what it is. I would do this with cotton instead of the acrylic that I did it with, because acrylic stretches more than cotton does. So here's the bag. And it is made up of 5 of those big granny squares. Now you could make this any size that you wanted. It just depends on how large you make your granny squares. So you could literally make this like a really tiny bag, or you could make it a large bag. You can make it bigger than this if you wanted to. So that is, I just attached the squares with a single crochet. And you really, like, I'll put up on the screen how I laid it out and how I seamed it together. But it's just single crochets holding it together. And then I did around the top, I did a row of single crochets, but I decreased every 10th stitch. So every 10th stitch was a decrease. So I did 9 and then I decreased and 9 and decreased all the way around for the first row. And then I just did, I did 3 rows total. And then I did a chain 70, I think, for the handle. And I started that at this section of the bag and just did the handle. So I did the 3 rows of singles, and I only decreased on the first row every 10th stitch, and then did 2 more single crochets, or 2 more single crochet rows. And then on the 4th row, I worked the single crochets up into the point where I wanted to add the handle, and then I did a 70 chain handle, which you could make it longer if you wanted to, or shorter, or whatever. And then I attached that with a single crochet over on this side wherever I wanted the other side of the handle to attach. And then I worked all the way around and then did that on the same thing on the opposite side, like that. And then I did 2 more rows of single crochets going and following up the side of the handle, and then I did a row of slip stitches on top of that. Then what I did is I attached over here on the inside of the handle, and I worked 3 more rows on the inside of the handle. Just did 3 more rows on the inside, and then did 1 row of slip stitches for that. So I did that on both sides, and then I folded the handles over. You can see over here. I folded the handles over and then just did a whip stitch all the way around, so it's a nice sturdy handle. And got that. And then on these opposite sides, I did an I-cord and just attached it to the side here on either side. And then, oh, I lined it too. I just attached that. You can hand sew or do your sewing machine, but I just attached that to the top part of the bag. And then with the cord, the I-cord on the left and right side of the bag, you could just tie your little bow. Kind of stays together like that. So it's tied that way. So there's that one. Again, I don't think that this one really needs a tutorial because it's kind of self-explanatory if you know how to do granny squares and single crochets for that one. That's that one. Another one I might just make a short on or a post about it, possibly. We'll see. So let me see. What else did I have? The other couple projects that I had going on. I have the swatches done for the testing of the yarn testing of all the value acrylic yarns. So I've got them, they've all gone through their process of wash, dry, all that stuff. So I have, those are the colors that I was working on. I've got my whole basket there. So that review is going to be coming out at some point. I still have to record like the comparison and show you a close-up of how everything looks up close and how it has worn through the washer and dryer and all that. And I was going to use this pattern, which it is a lovely pattern. I even marked everything with the colors that I wanted to do. And then I started making these diamonds, and I realized that I didn't read the instructions before I said that I wanted to do this one. You attach them as you go. So I decided to not do that and make a blanket from that. And instead I did the granny squares because I figured those would be really easy to compare next to each other. Instead of the diamonds. The diamonds ended up being, they were like this big. They were really big. So I decided against that. I will save that for another time when I really feel like I want to dive into a larger project. So what I decided to do with all of that yarn, since I only needed a little bit for the swatches, I decided to use it up in projects. So I am currently seeing what I can make with all those projects, or what I can make with all that yarn. And that's probably going to be a video in itself. That big bag that I made is all made from that test yarn. So I'm making good use of it. And I have a few other projects that I have in mind to continue working on for using up that stuff. So stay tuned for all the things that I can finish with that yarn. I will do an overview of everything that I get to finish and make with all that stash, because that was a lot of yarn. It was like a huge container of yarn. So I have that. That is in the works still, recording and showing the comparisons of all that stuff. And now I think this is the last project. And then we also have to do our count. Since it is the first of the month, we have to count May's yarn use. So we have to count our labels that we used in May. So stick around for that. But this is my other project I want to show you. This is my sock knitting box. I found this at a thrift store. It is such a pretty hand-painted box. I was told that whoever dropped it off said it was hand-painted in Germany. Don't know if that's true or not, but we're gonna roll with it. I just want to share with you how pretty it is hand-painted. Now, if it's from Germany, I have no idea. So I can't remember if there are any markings on the bottom of this section, because I have it sitting in the lid because I never put the lid on, and it's kind of stuck in there right now. So I'm not gonna try and force it, but this is my sock box. And I'm going to show you the socks. So I had this yarn that I got from the local thrift store, and these socks are for my husband. They're my first pair of wool socks and his first pair of knitted socks, hand knitted. So this is how it's looking so far. And I am using the tutorial from the Crazy Sock Lady, and I have made her socks before. This is the vanilla sock pattern, and I've used this pattern before, but I did it on the 32-inch sock needles from Gu, and I used this previously and did the magic loop with it, which worked well for me. I didn't seem to have much of an issue, but this time I wanted to use my 9-inch circulars. So also these are Gu, and that is what I'm using for it. I did start it on magic loop because I was familiar with that technique, and I didn't want to start it on 9-inch circulars since I've never used them before. But once I got the ribbing done, then I switched over to the 9-inch circulars. So I need to find needle stoppers or whatever you guys stitch, whatever the needle stopper things so that my stitches don't fall off. But I don't have any that are thin enough for this size needle. Mine are all for larger needles. So that is what is looking like so far. I've got the ribbing 1x1 rib, knit 1, purl 1 rib there. I'm pretty happy with it. You can see all those colors in there. It's looking so nice. I'm loving it. Because I will work on this when we're sitting in the living room together in the evenings. I work on it. And I think just about every night he's like, are they done yet? Are they done yet? He's like, time's ticking. Are they done yet? He obviously knows that they're not. He knows how big they are right now. But he's a joker. He's funny. He's a silly kid. And okay, so what else? That's it for projects. Now I'm going to count our yarn labels and see what we have for the month of May, what we have used for May. This is going to be fun. I always am, interested to see what exactly I used up. It's pretty fun. Then I have some notes in here because I did use some yarn that did not have labels. So we're going to have to see about that. And actually, I think I still have some more labels at the kitchen table. So let me go grab those real quick. Make sure we have all of them. I'll be right back. Okay, I did have one out there, and while I was out there, my son was making brownies, so I'm excited to go eat some. He's like the master at making brownies. He's the one that does that here at our house, so I'm excited for all that. Okay, let's sort these out and see what we got. Tip you down here for a second. I got a lap full of labels, so let's see what we got here. Okay, what we've got, we have one of the Caron 1 pound. There's one. I have 1 loops and thread, 2, got 2 spun color that I made that scarf with, so we've got 4. 2 of the fur yarns that we did for our fuzzy little sweater from the thrift flip when I made the blanket into a cardigan. So I've got 2, 4, 6. And then I've got, these are all big twists. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what did I say? 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Got 13. And then I had 2 cakes that I had that was the blue variegated gray and blue and gray variegated red heart yarn that I used for the sleeves on that thrift flip. So I've got 13, 14, 15, and then I had 5 cakes of that peachy, creamy, variegated worsted weight yarn that I did for the fur granny square cardigan that I made. So that was 7, and then we had, what did we have? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 20 for the month of May. Did I do that right? Are those the right numbers? Did I count right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, 20. Okay. 20 skeins or 20 labels is what we're counting for the month of May. So did pretty decent. Now, before we go, I have a few shout outs to send out there. First off, I want to start with my hug in a mug from Angie at the Fabulous Empty Nest. Angie is so amazing. She's so sweet. She's so encouraging. I love chatting with her. She's a doll. And if you have not checked out her channel, I suggest going and checking out the things that she makes. They are amazing. I get a ton of inspiration from either yarn choices that she has or colors or styles, and she does a lot of like the boho style. I love that style so much. I don't wear it a ton because we live in Florida and I feel like I'm just hot all the time. So I typically go with, you know, t-shirt, and that's like, I don't layer anything right now. So at this point in my life, I don't wear a ton of styled things, but I can't wait to wear some of the styles that she shares. So I'm very excited to explore that more, and I love her style of crochet. So, and she crochets so quickly too, and has so many neat makes. So go check out Angie. She's awesome. So Angie, thank you so much for the hug in a mug. And with the hug in a mug, she said, I think you're going to need another fun fur skein. Buy one on me. So she is referring to the cardigan that I made with the fur seams on it. And that is such a cute cardigan. I saw it made somewhere else. I cannot remember the creator that made it. I have a picture in my brain and I can't find it. But I saw that idea on Pinterest, I think, and it's just granny squares, and you seam it, like you attach the granny squares with faux fur yarn. It's just adorable. So I really want to make like a bigger one. The one I made is like a size small because that's the amount of yarn that I had for the squares. Since it was from a blanket, I was limited with the amount of squares that I had for it. So that ended up being a small size. I really want to make one that's like long and like, what I really want to do is I want to make it with like all my favorite colors, like the rust brown and the pumpkin orange and the, you know, the browns and the oranges and the olive green colors and things like that. And then I want to use like a mossy green fur or something fluffy like that and make it look like it's like a fairy, I don't know, like a mystical, what would you call that? Very hobbity, I think. It would be like the moss on top of a hobbit hole or something like that. I just feel like that would be the cutest design, and I want to make it, and it's living in my brain and it just wants me to make it, and I haven't gotten the things for it yet. So Angie, thank you for that, because I most likely will venture into getting a mossy hobbity cardigan with fur all over, green fur all over it. I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. So thank you for that. And then we have some shout outs for new coffee buddies. Now, if you guys are not familiar with coffee buddies, it's just a way to support the Crochet with Coffee channel. You get these really cute emojis and badges next to your name. So I just recently updated them, and I'm going to put it up on the screen so you can see the new emojis and badges that we have for the coffee buddies. Now, the emojis you get to use in all of the live chats that we have on Wednesday, or you can use them in the comments here, and they are just coffee and crochet themed, and they have cute little faces on them. And I also have a little granny in there because, I mean, granny square, granny life. I mean, we've got to embrace it, right? So I have those really cute emojis. If you are a member, please feel free to use those in the chat and in the comments and enjoy your little emojis that you have. And then you get a little picture that goes next to your name if you are a coffee buddy. It goes by the time that you have been a coffee buddy. It starts with a little a little ball of yarn, and then it changes to a different color ball of yarn, and then it goes into granny squares, and then it goes into a coffee mug, and then it goes into a rocking chair, and then a little granny sitting in the rocking chair. It's so cute. So that just upgrades every few months or however long you are a coffee buddy. It gets upgraded every so often. So if you are interested in that and you would like to support Crochet with Coffee in becoming a coffee buddy, feel free to do that, but it is just there for fun and supporting the channel. No obligation at all. And every video that I post on Crochet with Coffee, I plan to always have free and available to everyone. And that is why I want to make sure you guys have some fun emojis for supporting our Crochet with Coffee channel. But I am so thankful everyone that comes here and watches the videos, that likes the videos, comments, shares, subscribes, all of those different things. Those are a huge support to the Crochet with Coffee channel as well. It doesn't have to be through a membership. So I appreciate each and every one of you. But the shout outs, we have Monique. Monique, thank you for becoming a coffee buddy. It's so great to have you. Please enjoy those emojis and the little badge next to your name. And then we also have Penny. Penny, thank you so much for becoming a coffee buddy. And we have Bonnie. And Bonnie is a returning coffee buddy. I did have to switch the membership originally, and it was set up in a way that I was not thrilled with, so I wanted to change it. And she is just coming back after that change. So thank you so much, Bonnie, for becoming a coffee buddy for the second time. And then we also have Gloria. So Gloria, thank you so much for becoming a coffee buddy. And all of you, thank you. Member or not, I appreciate you so very much. So that is it for today. I appreciate you listening to my rambling. It was so nice to have you here. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you find joy in the little things.